Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Dave and Joe Liberty Stand. Once again, we appreciate your views here on the YouTube channel. The topic, the heading on this we have is liberty versus government. Can you start us off here, Dave?
This especially goes out to the younger people, the college age kids, the millennials in general. What is it, 32, 33 to 18, somewhere in their range?
Is a millennial?
Is a millennial.
Generation?
Whatever I don't know the last age, but I think it goes up to about 32 or 3. And I don't know how young it goes, but if you're a voting block age in there, and you like Bernie Sanders, you guys don't know. He calls himself a democratic socialist. The one thing I do like about Bernie Sanders, and this is the only thing, I don't know if he's a nice guy or not. He probably is, but this has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about at least the guy's honest about what he thinks and what he means. Hillary Clinton is no different than him at all. She's just a liar, okay? And I've said this before on the show, so this isn't a big surprise. But the thing of it is, the first person to call themselves a democratic socialist was somebody in Russia named Lenin. And none of when he was coming up and wanting to get elected, he was a communist. They didn't want communism. They didn't want it at all. And he knew that. So he wasn't about to call himself that. He called it, that was the first person ever to say, I'm a democratic socialist. And that is what Lenin called himself, Vladimir Lenin. And guess what? He was voted in, and that was the last vote for a very long time. And but actually, to be honest with you, any of the candidates we have right now, that might be the last vote for a very long time. But
yeah. Was he in Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
Lenin, dude, the guy that brought communism to Russia.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
What year? Do you know? When
I do not.
Roughly?
I can't.
How many years ago? Or
it was the first part of the 20th century.
Okay.
Stalin succeeded him.
Okay.
Joseph Stalin. But the point of the show is, everybody loves the free stuff. I get this. Oh man, free college. $15 an hour. The government's going to make the businesses pay me this, and all this free stuff and big money for doing menial work, and all these things. The government has to get big to make everybody comply and do these things. You cannot a land with free people, with liberty, cannot coexist with a big government. Every time the government gets a little more power, that's less power. The individual, the less freedom an individual person or the people in general have, and people don't understand that. And if they do, and they still think that's okay, what kind of a wuss are you that you would rather be taken care of and have your bottom powdered by a government to protect you and not let anybody call you a name or not pay you for doing nothing? You're a waste of skin, man. I mean, you're a waste of air. Why do you want to exist if you don't want to go through things and you don't want to try to do good for yourself and your family or for your friends, to help your favorite charities? And by the way, that's what charities are for. That's not what government's for, to help people that can't help themselves. That's why we have, I work downtown, and we have churches that help people all the time that are in need. There's plenty of private places that help the people that do need it. They're going through a tough time and they need it. I'm not saying that doesn't exist.
So what is the comparison? Can you kind of go tell us, like, with communism and the democratic socialist, what exactly does that look like?
There is no difference.
Well, I mean, no. Well, what does communism look like, though? I mean,
it looks like people being destitute. It looks like 90-something% of everybody having nothing, where all the ruling class has everything. Well, it looks like North Korea.
well, so what's the 90% and then the 10%? We say 90% has nothing.
Well, 90-something%.
Right. I'm just saying, just you know,
Right. Yeah, just right. Okay.
As a general percentage. But so what's happening with the 90%? So they're working every day, they're making money
For the state.
but how does
the
that
state
work?
runs everything. You got to understand what you make when you go to work. You know, XYZ company, and you're getting paid. You don't get this much money maybe.
So you're getting the 30%, and the government's getting
because
70%.
you don't need money because
that
the
right?
government's no less than that maybe because the government's taking all your money because they're going to decide what's good for you and how much you should have.
So
or not.
instead of giving the government a smaller portion, right, like we're doing now, we're going to be giving the government a larger portion.
Well, actually, the
would you agree with that statement? Is that right?
Say that again.
Well, right now we give the government a smaller portion of our income.
Well, you and
You're
I
saying
do.
it's going to be
But
flipped
if you
on
make
its
any
head.
money, if you're somebody that employs people, you're giving them a huge amount of money. And the more that you employ and the bigger you are, the more you pay. It is a ridiculous amount of money depending on where you live in this country as to how much you are paying in taxes.
Right.
Yeah, and what they really want, they want this. They don't even want private business. The government, they want to take over business. So everybody works for the government, and they will, you know what? Here's a little money maybe, but here's your coupon.
So that's kind of how
you come.
there's so much
you can
government
you can have this much
control.
bread a week because your family's this size. You can have so much of this, so much of that, and that's what you get.
So
And
it's like
that's
micromanaging your
everything,
life,
everything.
the government,
Everything.
and that's where we're headed. But why
And
don't
that's what
why don't
we're
we?
kind of
Why
there.
don't people
The
see
healthcare-
that though?
Joe, the healthcare thing, that's what that is. They're micromanaging our
yeah.
healthcare right now.
Right.
No, it hasn't kicked in yet. You're going, you know, a lot of people are going, well, you know, I'm still okay, and I still haven't had a bad time at the doctor, wait for it. And seriously, I mean, wait for it.
Well, I've heard, we talked to a nurse, my wife and I did on vacation last month, and she was talking about how now the doctors are being told what medications you can give,
Yep.
and their doctors are leaving the practice because of this overreaching arm of the government.
Well, you know, Joe, in my business, what we do, we have a lot of, you know, people that they have nice furniture and
Right.
done. I do upholstery work, and we do a lot of doctors and stuff like that.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and they're all trying to get out of that and trying to do something else with their knowledge instead
Right.
of being in that to get out of that government trap. And so,
Right. It's almost like either you give into the control, which I mean, a lot of people are going to have
Well, it's
to
not
because
just-
they don't have a
it's-
choice. You know what I'm saying?
the thing
We
with it
won't
is,
have a choice.
it's not worth.
Yeah. What it costs for them
they
to
went
get
to
into
school
it, maybe.
and work their brains out to
Right.
try to do this thing
to help people.
to help people and also to make money and spend a lot of money to try to make that up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then have
I have
a good
a
life.
cousin who's a
And now they can't do that
brain
anymore.
surgeon.
You have a
He's
cousin that's a brain
yeah,
surgeon?
he's a recent. Yeah,
Wow.
he became recently. I don't know if he's still.
Is he in this state?
He's
or-
in Florida.
Okay.
Lots of brains down there that need help in Florida. You know, the
Uh,
sun, it's hot. So
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
because they went for Trump, right? Yeah, I know.
no, because they're older maybe too. But
No, they
no,
went for-
but you know, so and ultimately, I guess is a kind of a warning is like know what you're asking for.
be careful of what you wish for.
Yes,
Yes.
because so the message it sounds good, right? Bernie sounds
free
good.
stuff. Who doesn't
Free
want
stuff.
free stuff?
But the thing is, that's a lie.
Yes.
Because there's a price to pay. Nothing's free.
Somebody-
Our freedom in the country
somebody
costs.
made that. Somebody shipped that.
Yeah.
Somebody got
Well,
that to you.
And the
Passes
freedoms
through
in
him.
our country, Dave.
It's not free. It may
The-
be free to you.
The freedoms we have in this country, were they free?
No.
No, what had to be paid?
Blood and treasure. Blood and treasure.
Blood and guts and treasure.
Yes.
People
yeah.
sacrificed for what we have, and we're throwing it away. You know, we're throwing it away.
We are pathetic. We are terrible.
We're deceived. We're deceived. We are deceived.
Yes, we are.
We're believing something because it sounds good, but it's not.
But it doesn't sound good. Okay, and if you don't believe this,
Well,
you are a
evidently.
terrible person. If somebody says, you know what, I really want to go out tonight. You know, come on, hang out with me. Let's go out. Joe, come on, man. I kind of want to go out tonight. You know what, man? I had a rough financial week. You know what? I just had to. My furnace went out, and I just had to. Man, it's been a tough. I just had to pay a crap load of money, and you know what? It's on me, man. I just really want to go out. Go out. You know. Now, don't you? This has happened to me. I mean, when I've been down on my luck and stuff, but people want me to go out, I always feel like a piece of crap. And I don't want to really get what I want because they're paying for it.
Oh, okay.
Because if I was paying for it, I'd be getting this, you know, I'd be getting what I wanted. But because, I mean, I already feel dirty and
yeah, you're taking advantage.
How do you feel right when you're not, you're partying it up and stuff, and it's on somebody else's dime, you know?
Yeah, you don't care about.
How is that morally? How do you feel right?
That's a good point, because morally we're so bankrupt, we're so broken. I think it's people today, or we, you know, it's like what's right and what's wrong. That, you know, it's upside down.
I got a great example of this.
We got to close up. So
okay, real quick. Like when we go out, like a family thing, or my mom or my dad. You know, my mom and dad's divorced, so you know, if we go out for one side or the other, and they always want to pay, and I hate that. And especially my dad, and this is why I hate it when anybody pays. I don't like when my mom pays either, but my dad, because when I go out, I want to have drinks. I like to have drinks when I go out. My dad is really
like soda and tea.
He's
and
very,
water.
very with his religion and stuff. He frowns on that a lot. Well, you know what? If I wouldn't care if I'm paying for it. Hey, that's mine. You know, hey, screw you. This is, you know, I'm paying for it. You know, I wouldn't say screw you to my dad, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's
dad,
like,
or
I wouldn't feel bad about ordering a drink for myself if I was paying for it. And but to make him pay, for something he doesn't believe in, I don't feel comfortable in that. Why would you?
But you know, I think there's a different mindset though. Maybe today, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, I don't get that.
I think there. Well, we can talk about that later.
Let's
talk about another show.
It feels good to be able to pay for yourself.
Well, because there's pride in, you know, achieving and accomplishing, you know, goals and using the gifts you have, and there should be.
The bottom line is, this is why you're beholden to government. If you let them pay for everything, you have to jump through hoops. You have no freedom. Well, you are a slave to government.
We talked about that before. The bottom line
of this show, though.
Your worth is greater than bowing down to.
You are basically giving up your individualism. If you're just a government cog, if you want the freebies and want to work. Well,
and if the warning is there's a price to pay.
Right.
Don't think that following this way.
And all this great stuff they're promising you is a lie.
Right.
It will happen for a year or two.
Right.
Oh, it's not deceptive. It's a flat out lie.
Oh, that's a deception, yeah.
Well, right. But I want to say it by get rid of this. Look, we got to go.
All right. See you guys. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in.